G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. G'day guys and welcome to Casual Rage 123, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. And of course this week, there's just more Star Wars news. There is a little bit of Indiana Jones news that we're going to talk about. Obviously that is coming up really soon, and it looks to me like it's going to be a bit of a disaster. But we'll talk a little bit about that. I did put out a video thanks to Grizzy. If you don't know Grizzy, go and check out his channel. Does some great work over there. Thanks to him, though, we got to see how they're sort of starting to censor some of the bad, well, I guess, reviews of the movie, despite the fact that the content that he put out was only titled in a slightly, what would it be, negative way, I guess. So we'll talk a little bit about that. There's some Acolyte news. We got some Mandalorian news. We've got some Obi-Wan Kenobi news. Reva is going to be returning, of course. And that's pretty much it. We're just going to talk some Star Wars, talk some shit. And there's a little bit of Marvel news as well that I wanted to talk about. But I hope you're all doing really well. This morning, Blabs and I did a Harry Potter stream, which was really cool. I definitely wanted to dive into that a little bit more, but I was really unprepared for it, to be honest. We kind of set it up 2 weeks ago that we were going to do it, and it had been a while since I'd read the books. So we'll do something like that again over on the Full Aussie channel. If you're not subscribed to the Full Aussie channel, of course, please go over and subscribe. We do, what is it? It's pretty much, 2 streams a week, I guess, or possibly 3, depending on when your week starts. But yeah, every weekend we're doing a stream. Of course, we've got the official Full Aussie stream that we do. We've got the Back of the Ute stream, and of course the midweek Happy Hump Day, which is always a lot of fun. So if you're not subscribed to the Full Aussie channel, go over to that channel and subscribe. But we're going to do some more reviews and things like that probably over there. Some more streams like the one that we did this morning, which, like I said, was a lot of fun. Let's quickly say hello to the chat and see who we've got here. We've got Corey, we've got Dan Blackroyd, we've got a Sith Assassin trailer, we've got Nuisance Bird, how you doing? Fuck Norris is in the chat, the Vader Fanatic, Red Pilled Rants, yes, 9 cool people. We're now up to 18, so there's 18 cool people. And as more people come in, I know that there's some people out there that can't watch it live. So to any of you guys that do come back and rewatch the stream at a later time, I appreciate you and thank you for being here and thank you for watching. Who else have we got here? We've got Trillium in the chat. We've got Cellshade, Mike Hill, the great Mike Hill. How you doing, Mike? Good to see you. We've got Jolly's here. just see you. Hale, how you doing? Let's see. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. But if anybody does sort of stroll in, or obviously there's some lurkers in the chat, so I appreciate you guys as well. And thank you all for being here. Now, there was something that dropped today in regards to Star Wars, and we're going to talk about that straight off the bat. But I just wanted to just generally talk for a second about Star Wars. Now, of course, every week I come on here, I talk about Star Wars, I talk about how bad things are, and I don't think it's going to be getting any better. And I think that's pretty evident, especially based on the continued announcements and things that keep coming out about Star Wars. I just want to make the point, and this isn't... I just want to make the point that I really want good Star Wars. And I think you guys know that. I think you guys in the chat are in the same boat that I'm in regards to wanting to have good Star Wars and good entertainment in general, I guess. Like, who wouldn't be down for an Indiana Jones movie if it was going to be good? If there wasn't going to be the whole, changing the guard to this female Indiana Jones, indications that that's where it's going to go and all of this kind of thing. And obviously with Lucasfilm, there is a lot of the Force is female. And I think that seeps into all of Lucasfilm's IPs like Indiana Jones as well. But I really feel like the more I talk about Star Wars and the more I see these things come out and everything, the more I get disheartened by it. I don't really like talking about Star Wars the way that I talk about it, but I've got no choice because that's how I feel towards it. You know what I mean? And okay, Nikki, how you doing? Is Ronald channeling his inner Hugh Hefner? Yeah, that's right. Got my robe on. It's fucking cold here, so I gotta wear something, and I didn't want to put my hoodie on, my jumper on. It's fucking too much. But yeah, channeling my inner Hugh Hefner. That's funny. Dan says I was out with Crystal Skull. I mean, Crystal Skull was bad. It was really bad, but I don't know. I'm going to keep talking about it because, again, my love of Star Wars is so strong that I need to see what's happening. I need to watch what's happening. But as you guys know, I'm not really going to be talking about it in the most positive way. And, I used to say to those people out there, if you enjoyed it, good for you. Enjoy what you enjoy. But the more I start thinking about that statement, you can. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But I can't sit there and just blindly watch these things without, seeing the problems with it. Not even necessarily watching it through a critical lens, just seeing the issues that are actually happening. So, for example, this week I put out, I think it was last night actually, I put out the video about the budget for Andor. $250 million. We talked about it last week and I clipped it out from the stream. We talked about it last week. And there was somebody that jumped in my comments and they were just saying how good it was and, the money was spent really well and all of this kind of thing. And okay, I will say visually and everything, it's probably better than a lot of the stuff that they're filming in the volume. And I mentioned that in the video too. The volume definitely restricts them with the it restricts what they can do, and you can definitely see it. Especially that scene with Obi-Wan Kenobi when he's trying to chase Leia and, sort of goes to grab her but lets her go sort of thing. So the production value of Andor was big, right? And it was probably better than a lot of the other things that they've done. However, my point is How did they make back $250 million from Andor, especially when the ratings dropped massively? I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of annoyed, a little bit annoyed at the moment because, like I said, I put out videos and I talk about the specific elements that I saw that were wrong or that I saw that were bad. And people like sort of choose to ignore those things, those elements. I see Greg in the chat as well. How you doing, dude? Yeah, I know you want to burn it down. I just want entertainment to be good. And I must admit, that's what sort of got me excited for Mission Impossible, the new Mission Impossible that's coming out. Yeah. Raging Rhino's transforms into annoyed Rhino. It's just when I see blatant issues with these things and I tell people what they are, it's like, yeah, okay, but it was good. It's like, okay, but what made it good to you? Oh, they had good character development. The characters were really good, or something along those lines. It's like, okay, especially in the Star Wars universe, what about the lore? What about the continuity of these, like, not the characters? What about the continuity of those other elements, the lore, the cohesiveness of the story? Like, it would be like me saying Obi-Wan Kenobi was shit because of the rematch of the century and the whole Leia interaction and a couple of other things that we talked about, Reva. And it's like, oh, somebody says it was really good. Why was it really good? Oh, because the characters were really good. Well, I disagree with the fact that Reva was a good character. But also, too, like the motivations of Obi-Wan even leaving Luke and all of that sort of thing. Like, it destroys Star Wars. It destroys the fabric of what we know about that time period. But people choose to ignore those elements, I think. Yeah, hopefully Mission Impossible will be another great action flick. Based on what I'm seeing and based on what I'm hearing, that's going to be the next great movie, good movie, at least. And as long as it is good, I hope it makes $1 billion. And that just goes to show that Tom Cruise is actually doing some of the right things. Oh, excuse me. Let me see. I can tell you the entire premise of the new Mission Impossible. Someone will fool the villain with a face mask. Do they still do that? Like, did they do that in the last Mission Impossible? Did they use those face mask things? I watched Maverick twice. Yeah, I only saw it once at the theater, but I've seen it again since then, and it's still, like, I still really enjoyed it. There are a couple of things where I could say that, especially when Maverick goes down, he gets shot down. I probably would have liked to have. It probably would have been a much more emotional scene if there was some way that he actually died. But they wanted to give it the way that they wanted to end it the way that they ended it, and it worked. But it could have probably been a little bit better if they had have done something like that. Hopefully every projector that plays tries to play Mission Impossible 6 catches fire. Melissa Lord, how you doing? Why you want him to die for? No, I don't want him to die necessarily. It just probably would have been a little bit more I don't know, emotional, I guess. It probably would have held a little bit more emotional weight if he did. I'm fine with him surviving and I'm fine with him living. But yeah, could have possibly been a little bit better. I know how you feel. I don't blame you. I gave up on Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who. I decided to move to the Gundam franchise. I've heard a fair bit about Gundam and all of that, but I've never got into it. I hope the next Mission Impossible movie will do well and won't be woke. Well, I don't think it will be, because Tom Cruise, he can bring like female characters in and stuff like that and it not be woke, or he can bring in people of color and it not be woke. Like Top Gun Maverick was of quite a diverse cast and everyone was fine with it. It all made sense. It wasn't like the female character was any better or any worse than the male characters or anything like that. Whereas if it was done by, let's say, a woke studio or something like that, or controlled by somebody who's, you know, an activist, then, you know, that female character probably would have, you know, flown over, done the mission all by herself, saved Maverick 10 times, all of that shit. So, anyway. We know you prefer Tokyo Gold, Ryan. No, Cell Shade. All right. Let's talk about this really quickly. So this is what I saw. I just saw this earlier. I got sent this earlier. Blab sent it to me, and I saw Ryan did a video on it as well. So, upcoming Star Wars film focused on Rey will see her. Upcoming Star Wars film focused on Rey will see her train. Am I saying that wrong? A female apprentice, destined to emerge as the future leader. Now, this apparently has been debunked by Lucasfilm or by Disney, and they've said that these things that are coming out about it aren't necessarily true. Now, I don't know who to believe in regards to all of this, because when they announced that they were doing this Rey movie, they hadn't even really started writing it at that stage, and this was at Star Wars Celebration not that long ago. So I don't know how much they've actually put together. I don't know how much story they've got. I don't know how much they've actually put in. However, there was this, and this is from Screen Rant. Star Wars New Jedi Order plot synopsis. New Jedi Order plot synopsis reportedly revealed Rey and her two apprentices shape the future. Now, again, apparently the female is like the more powerful one, and this again leans more towards the whole Force is female stuff. Yeah, this is apparently supposed to be a leak, but again, Lucasfilm or Disney came out and said that no, that's not true, or something like that. But apparently this got a lot of people excited. I don't know. Again, like I said, I've just seen this. I wasn't really prepared for it. I didn't look into it all of that much. I watched Ryan's video, which was a 4-minute video. It was very quick and skimmed over it. But let me just read this. Set roughly 15 years after Rey's victory over Palpatine at the end of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, the sequel delves into Rey's courageous endeavor to restore the Jedi Order, where she assumes the role of a mentor to two promising young students, a girl and a boy. As her training progresses, it becomes evident that the girl possesses extraordinary abilities. Extraordinary abilities. Destined to emerge as the future leader. So this is the thing. With everything that we've received and seen from Lucasfilm, the fact that they've come out and denied that this is what's happening or this is the case, I don't really believe those denials. Do I believe Lucasfilm? Do I believe Disney? No. I mean, everything that they do tends to revolve around the Force is female, and it wouldn't surprise me. But the other question that I have too is that this is 15 years after the rise of Palpatine. Did she only find two students to teach? Like, she's got two apprentices in this new Jedi Order. Now, okay, they could just be specifically her two apprentices, and there's other Jedi Masters maybe. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me though if it didn't. It's kind of like with Luke in the Book of Boba Fett. You know, that takes place, I don't know how many years after, I can't remember now. I mean, we're talking 5 years for the beginning of Mando, couple of years, and then, so in, let's say, between 5 to 10 years, Luke still hasn't even started a Jedi Order or training anyone or anything. He's got no students. In that time period, what's happened to all the forceful beings in the galaxy? Are they just left to their own devices and they're not, being trained? They're not being sought after? She is the bestest ever. Don't ask questions. Or don't question her. Don't question her. Sith rules, the boy must die. Again, I don't know the validity of this leak, rumor, whatever you want to call it. The fact that it's even out there is interesting. And the fact that Rey is going to be training a male and a female apprentice, and the female is going to be the one that has the extraordinary abilities. The female is going to be the one that's going to be the future leader of the Jedi Order. I'm already pissed off about this being the fact that they're calling it the new Jedi Order or whatever it is that they're going to do with it, and it's not Luke Skywalker. Again, just completely retconning real Star Wars to create their own new Star Wars. And it's not something we didn't already know. When they said that they were getting rid of the EU, we've talked about this a lot. When they said that they were getting rid of the EU, it was so that they could create their own stories. The problem is that their own stories that they are creating are embedded in woke bullshit activism. And the Force is female. And that is so very evident. I've got another thing that I'm going to bring up soon that indicates that as well. So, I guess take it with a grain of salt. Can't believe that saying has become so annoying to me to have to say that because of fucking stupid helmet people. Talk about Harry Potter, Rhino. But yeah, it will have to wait and see to find out what they're doing. I don't doubt for a second that this movie, once they've actually got it in development or whatever the case may be with it, it's going to leak. And we'll find out what this story is going to be. just like The Rise of Skywalker did. And it wasn't who you think it was that actually reported it and proved and said that they were right the whole time. Dick Van Dumb cunt. So anyway, I just saw this. I wanted to quickly touch on it. We'll have to, again, wait and see to find out what this story's going to be. The fact that we've got Rey doing the whole New Jedi Order thing in the first place fucking is ridiculous. The fact that we've got Ahsoka doing the whole Heir to the Empire story is ridiculous. Let's see. Greg says, Ahsoka took all the Force sensitives to an unknown region to start a cult of people that worship her. Rey's left with the scraps. That would be fucking hilarious if they actually did something like that. Rey's just left with two people to train. That would be funny. Melissa Lord says, number one, riddle me this, Batman. How is Rey going to train someone when she has no training herself? Dumbass Disney. That's another good point. You know, the fact that they made Leia this master that can teach, students in the ways of the Force. Like, don't get me wrong. In the EU, Luke was training Leia, right? But she was never as forceful. She was never as powerful in the Force as Luke was. At least not in the early stages. Maybe in some of the other books that I haven't read yet, she does become a bit more. She gains a bit more ability, but it wasn't Luke that trained Rey. There was never any training, despite the 3 lessons that he taught her in The Last Jedi. Fertilance, how you doing? I can't see that movie ever getting past only being talked about. Well, see, that's the other thing too. That is the other thing too with this whole thing, with the 3 movies that they announced and everything. Out of all of them, and I said this before, out of all of them, I think that there's only going to be this one. Right, we've got the James Mangold one. We've got and apparently he's writing that at the same time as doing Swamp Thing or whatever it is. We've got the Dave Filoni one, and we've got this one. I mean, I'll believe it when I see it. You know, once the movie's done and they've got an announcement, they've got a release date, and there's trailers coming out and all of this kind of stuff, that's when I'll believe that these movies are actually coming. I don't believe anything coming from Lucasfilm because they have literally announced, and I think we're up to like 15 or 16 different projects that have been actually announced and then shelved or completely cancelled or not even started the development of them. Don't forget Rian Johnson's trilogy. That Ahsoka film is most likely the only film that will happen. The thing is like the Dave Filoni one, I don't believe is supposed to be an Ahsoka film. I thought it was a Mandoverse film. It's probably a way for Lucasfilm to get Pedro Pascal on the big screen, despite the fact that I don't know. And the way they ended season 3, like, I'm not even 100% sure anymore about season 4 of Mando. The way they ended it with the yibbity, that's all, folks, with the little circle. It felt like a complete ending. Like, this is where the story ends. Now, I think the Mandoverse movie is supposed to take place somewhere in between all of that. I think. It's not actually supposed to take place after Mando Season 3. But who knows? Again, they haven't even started writing it. It's not even in development yet. It's announced. How many times have we seen these announcements? I mean, the other thing too is you got to remember, one's already been delayed. We talked about that last week. A movie has already been delayed. How do you delay something that they haven't even started yet? And between now and 2026 and 2027, when we're supposed to have all three of these movies between mid-2026 and the end of 2027, let's see what comes out next Star Wars Celebration. Next year. Is there going to be anything in regards to these three movies? I mean, give me your predictions. Do you think that next Star Wars Celebration, that they're going to talk about the three movies that they've announced at this year's Star Wars Celebration? Do you think that they'll have any trailers available, scripts done, production done? How deep down this rabbit hole do you think that they're going to be by next year's Star Wars Celebration? What's this that you've put in the chat here, Grant? I might have to read through. I'm not going to do that now, Grant, because I've got to read the actual article. I might talk about that next week. We'll see. I'll leave it there. And you guys know me and my reading. I need to be prepared for stuff like that. Let me just check this really quickly. Look at the author, of that article. Oh, it's Mr. Grant Gregory. Or is it you, Mr. Grant Gregory, or is it just a Grant Gregory? That's funny. Now, I don't want to get into this, but I've started seeing a couple of these sorts of things ever since like the announcement of the Rey movie. And it's basically this. Star Wars, why the Rey is a Mary Sue claim is nonsensical and rooted in sexism. This is just like a straw man thing. This is because everybody out there that knows Star Wars and heard about this announcement they don't care. They don't want Rey. They never did. They didn't want a continuation of her story. And this is where Lucasfilm is stuck because of where they ended things, right? Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody wants to see any more of this. So that they can't move forward. That's why they've got to stay in the era that they're in between the prequels and the original trilogy, and maybe a little bit after the original trilogy. And of course, with the stuff that they're doing that's a little bit after with all the stuff that they're trying to do with what comes after the original trilogy, they're trying to make it all about the cloning stuff. And we've seen that through the Bad Batch, through the Mandalorian. All of these things are rooted in cloning. Secrets only the Sith know. This is the problem with what they've done with that too, with that statement that I just said, secrets only the Sith know, is that they've written themselves in a corner with all of this stuff. So if cloning is only stuff that the Sith know and making Force-sensitive clones, then how is Moff Gideon able to do it? When 25 years, or let's say 20 years after that, apparently these are only secrets that the Sith knew. Oh, he was just naive. He didn't know. That's why he said that. Mike Hill says, for $5, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. 2025 is the next Star Wars celebration. There won't be one next year. Wow. I didn't know that. But again, is that because it's losing momentum? Is that because they just don't know? Well, by 2025, by the 2025 Star Wars celebration, they better have some scripts and some fucking shots to show for these movies. Okay, Star Wars Marvel purist, good to see you. No, that's all good, man. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for lurking. Like this, it's rooted in sexism. Rey is a Mary Sue. If you say that, you're a bigot. When it's evident. She is the pure definition of a Mary Sue. And the funny thing is that anybody that says that, I know Open Airlock Policy, Tim, he's said that. Greg in the chat, he's said that. Everybody that I talk to that hates the fucking sequel trilogy knows that she's a Mary Sue. You watch Mauler's videos. Critical Drinkers mentioned it. She is the pure definition of a Mary Sue. Look up the definition of a Mary Sue. You'll see a picture of Rey Skywalker, Rey Palpatine. Because she is. She didn't receive any training. They even admitted that she didn't receive any training. She downloaded Kylo Ren's training during their Force torture. No, I didn't do the Harry Potter one instead of Casual Rage. I was just doing it as well as. And guys, if you aren't subscribed to the Full Aussie channel, any mods that are in the chat, if you could drop the link, that'd be appreciated. So if you're not subscribed to the Full Aussie channel, Blabs and I just did an hour and a half this morning talking about Harry Potter because I finished reading all the books. So we talked a little bit about that. We're going to do a couple more streams that are similar to that in the future. But yeah, no, I'm here. Yeah, she's the poster child for Mary Sue. She is. So they can come out and say this all they like. And again, this is just deflecting from the fact that people are saying that they just don't want this. They don't care about it. This movie comes out, if this movie comes out, it will crash at the box office. It will. Mark my words. Now, if let's say it comes out and it does really well at the box office, well, I'll eat my words. It still doesn't mean, money doesn't mean whether or not a thing is good or not, right? Because I could almost guarantee that all the pronoun people that are out there will just go and see the movie 10 times just to boost them. And you never know with that sort of thing. It's kind of like when people talk about review bombing and everything on Rotten Tomatoes and all of that kind of thing. Yeah, IGN is already giving it a 10 out of 10. Exactly. So it's like, you know, they're going to go and view bomb it because they need it to be successful. They need it to be successful. Let me just check here really quickly. No. So again, I've seen a couple of things like that out there ever since the announcement of this movie, because they need it to be good. They need people to appreciate Rey Skywalker. Oh, thanks, Mike. I will add that here. Where do I put that? Sorry, guys, give me a sec. Mike just sent me another thing to take a look at. I'll put it there. All right. Actually, let's talk about that. Let me bring this up. So all the news revolving around the Ahsoka series coming out is really, really starting to ramp up, because we're literally about a month away from the Ahsoka show actually airing. And of course, we've got to heighten Dave Filoni and talk about how amazing Dave Filoni is. I hate the fact that there are people out there that sit there and go, Disney Star Wars is shit, but Dave Filoni is awesome. If Dave Filoni is involved, I'm loving it because it's Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni. Suck that Dave Filoni cock. It's not even sucking Lucasfilm's cock or sucking fucking Disney's cock. It is literally sucking off Dave Filoni dry. And I just don't get it, because Dave Filoni has been involved in nearly everything. It's been proven and come out that he had a very big say in what happened in the sequel trilogy, which is the biggest abomination out of all of Disney Star Wars. But then he had a hand and a role in The Mandalorian and the shit that's become. He's had a role in, obviously, like all the Bad Batch stuff and all the animated stuff that's still been coming out, which again has been pretty much an abomination of Lucas's Star Wars, right? But again, the narrative needs to be pushed, because Dave Filoni is the savior of Star Wars. He is the one that's doing Star Wars justice. He is the one that is loyal, which this is where this article comes into play. Rosario Dawson says that she hopes that Dave Filoni continues to bring Ahsoka along on his potential future Star Wars projects. He's been very loyal to her over the years, and she to him. This is the thing. He might have been loyal to Rosario. He might have been loyal to the character of Ahsoka. You know who he wasn't loyal to? George Lucas. You know who else he wasn't loyal to? The fans. You know who else he wasn't loyal to? Fucking Star Wars, just in general. He has done just, and I've mentioned this many times, he has done just as much damage to Star Wars as Kathleen Kennedy has as a producer. He is right behind the whole Force is female thing. And we talked about this just before, but here you go. Ahsoka is the first ever, I hate this first ever bullshit. Ahsoka is the first ever live action Star Wars project to have 3 top billed cast members be female. Woo! Whoop-de fucking do. Whoop-de fucking do. Why is that a headline? Why is that so important? Oh, because the Force is female. Who's making this? Dave fucking Filoni. Who's producing this? Kathleen Kennedy. Who's fucking Star Wars? Disney Lucasfilm. And those 2 people at the helm. Stop giving Dave Filoni credit. He is a fucking hack and a fucking cuck. And he is the most disloyal person at Lucasfilm because, yes, he was the apprentice under George Lucas, so he knows better. But he chooses to ignore what he knows so that he can toe the line, so that he can keep his job, so that he can get his movie, so that he can continue fucking rubbing one out over Ahsoka. Why is this important? Why is it important? Do we sit here and we say, oh, it's the first ever live action Star Wars project with 2 female leads and 1 male lead? Who cares? See how ridiculous it sounds? We've never had a Star Wars project have 3 male leads. So let me reread this. Ahsoka is the first ever live-action Star Wars project to have 3 top-billed cast members be male. See how stupid it fucking sounds? See how pointless it is? But no, it's important. Yes, Grizzy, and how you doing? We're gonna go through your stuff shortly. He says, "Sup, Rhino? Didn't Charlie's Angels come out like 20 years ago with 3 female leads?" Yes, but it wasn't Star Wars. It wasn't Star Wars. This is the first ever Star Wars project. Because you got to remember what Leslie Headland said? Star Wars is embedded in misogyny. Which is completely ridiculous when you've got characters like Leia and you've got characters like Padme. Completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous when you've got characters like Ayla Secura or Shakti. Jedi Masters. This is completely ridiculous and pointless. Two female leads and 1 male lead. I thought Kenobi was the first to have that. No, that had 2. Oh, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. You got Obi-Wan, Leia, and Reva. It's pointless. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. And this is just more evidence of the whole Force is female bullshit. And this, to me, is just Dave Filoni towing the line, being disloyal to George Lucas. Might be loyal to her, and she might be loyal to him. But Dave Filoni is the most disloyal person to Star Wars we've ever had. Probably even more so than Kathleen Kennedy. And then, of course, this is what Mike just sent me. Rosario Dawson says Ahsoka is basically the 5th season of Rebels. I'm pretty sure Dave Filoni said that. Great. Rebels was shit. Rebels was Aladdin in space that had a lot of destructive elements to it, including to Thrawn. Oh, I'm sharing my DMs there. Not that it matters. It was just that article from Mike. Yeah. The point that I want to make with all of this, though, is that it is literally Dave Filoni that is doing destruction after destruction after destruction at the moment when it comes to Star Wars. But yet, You know, you get your Star Wars theories out there that are like, I don't trust Disney. We need Luke Skywalker, but I don't trust Disney to do it unless it's Dave Filoni. That's going to get clipped. Drives me crazy. Drives me crazy when I can watch stuff that Dave Filoni's doing, see that it's fucking destructive, see how bad it actually is, and then you get people like Star Wars Theory or Den of Shills or whoever else out there that thinks that Disney's not really going in the right direction with Star Wars, but yet everything Dave Filoni touches is absolute gold. And this is why I'm starting to really get over it. This is why I'm starting to get really fucking annoyed. Of course it is. It was already super obvious. So, look, we're a month away from this Ahsoka show coming out. The rip-off Heir to the Empire. Diet Heir to the Empire. You're not over anything. No, you're right. I'm not. For want of a better word, Len, let's say, I'm getting over the bullshit from all these fucking Star Wars channels out there, the fucking the pronoun fucktards on Twitter. I swear a lot of these accounts are just fucking fake accounts. They're Disney Star Wars owned accounts that just keep pushing shit like that thing that we showed before about how the Rey is a Mary Sue is embedded or rooted in sexism. Fake Ed, that's right. Fake Thrawn, that's right. Chris Mack, he's not going to watch it. Man, good, honestly, good for you. Like, good on you. I can't help myself. I just can't help myself. People are like, oh, you just hate watch it or whatever the case may be. Okay, maybe I do. Maybe I do. But it's more so the fact that I want good Star Wars. I want to see good Star Wars. And as evident from The Bad Batch and a couple of episodes of The Bad Batch, I've thrown some credit where credit is due. However, I just need to know and I need to see what they're doing. And I like reporting back to you guys to say, okay, look what they've done now. Because the thing is if I give up and I stop watching it all and I just stop, the channels out there that you're going to watch are things like Star Wars Theory, right? They're the probably, other than watching the Shield, like the full-on Shield channels that are like, yeah, like the Star Wars Explained and all those fucktards, right? The probably the closest thing that you'll get would be Star Wars Theory. However, the one big difference is that Star Wars Theory comes out and he says, oh, this was a really bad episode. It was a 7 out of 10. What? A really bad episode is a 7 out of 10. So you're putting a really bad episode of Star Wars like on the same plateau as like maybe the Phantom Menace, or maybe like the Attack of the Clones or something like that. That's not genuine. That's not genuine. Fence sitting is not an opinion. Fence sitting is telling the audience what they want to hear. And when you've culminated an audience of fucking Disney seals, it's hard to sit there and go, this was shit. I give it a 2. Because then they turn on you. I don't think there's any threat of Star Wars Theory losing his 3 million subscribers. He might lose a couple here and there if he was to be honest with himself. No offense, Rhino, but you're not keeping anyone from watching Star Wars. I don't think. No, none taken, man. None taken whatsoever. I don't think I am. 3,000 subscribers? I'm not turning anyone away from fucking watching his garbage. Fuck, even I've gone in and watched, especially for season 3 of Mando. I didn't watch his entire streams, his entire watch parties and everything, but I definitely jumped in there and went to the end of the watch party, you could say, to see what his thoughts were. And that's why I know that he came out and said, oh, I really didn't like this episode. I thought it was actually pretty bad or pretty bland or whatever he said about it that was negative, but still gives it a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I don't know how anyone can sit there and watch that and think that that's a genuine opinion. Haven't watched anything from Disney Star Wars since The Force Awakens. Let it die. Anyway, we're literally about a month away from Ahsoka releasing. I will be watching it. I will be doing my reviews as I always do my reviews. And you guys can watch. And if you're not watching it, like Grandmaster Chris isn't going to watch it, or a few others that mentioned that they weren't going to watch it, you can always just watch my review of it. Send Greg the link. Greg, do you want the link? Is he saying no, that guy sucks? Are you talking about me? We'll be praying for you, Rhino. Let me skip this one really quick. And let me go to... And here's another example. Hang on. Because I like to clip some things like this out for like a video or something. So here's another example of Disney being woke, Disney being women empowered, and all of this kind of shit. And the Force is female, even though I think this person isn't even a female. So the Acolyte has cast Abigail Thorne as Ensign Narnia, making her the first transgender actor to appear in a Star Wars series. Woo! Once again, who cares? Who cares? And first of all, actually, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest that the Acolyte has cast a transgender actor. It wouldn't surprise me. You know why it wouldn't surprise me? Because it's Leslie fucking Headland. Former personal assistant to Weinstein. Like, again, everything's Star Wars right now. Look at these headlines that we've gone through so far on this stream. All of the headlines are about, oh, we've got we've got the first time ever in a live action. Fucking, we've got 3 female lead characters. If you say that Rey is a Mary Sue, you're embedded and rooted in sexism. We've got the first ever trans actor appearing in a Star Wars series. Where are the headlines of, what happened in the galaxy at this period of time, blah, blah, blah? Like, where's that conversation? I think it's pronounced Euros. I doubt that's true. Well, whether or not it's true or not, this is a headline for Star Wars. This is a headline for the Acolyte. Does it get you excited for the Acolyte? Does this get you excited for the Acolyte? Because this is what's being put out there to promote the Acolyte and get Star Wars fans excited for it. That's bullshit. Daisy really clearly had a double mastectomy. I'm just like, Star Wars isn't Star Wars anymore. And it hasn't been for a long time. I know. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know. Sorry, I think there's been other trans actors in Star Wars shows. Maybe. I don't know personally, because it's never been a thing. Nobody ever cared. And it was never an importance to know whether or not the person's biologically male, female, trans, gay, lesbian, bi, any of that stuff. Who cares? Nobody gives a fuck. But yet, so very important. So very important to make this a headline. It's shit like this that I'm actually getting over. It's shit like this that pisses me off. Because it's unimportant. How about a headline telling us something about the Acolyte, the actual show itself? I mean, how long has the Acolyte been in production for, and we don't hear anything about it other than fucking, what's her name coming out, Leslie Edlin coming out and saying how misogynistic Star Wars has been, and she gets to dictate now, because George Lucas isn't the be-all and end-all, and she gets to dictate now what Star Wars is to Star Wars fans. She's apparently been a Star Wars fan her whole life, but when she gets asked, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Just all the Star Wars. And then we get shit like this where, again, the headline is the first ever trans fucking actor in Star Wars. We're getting rid of the misogynistic Star Wars and we're replacing it with our activist Star Wars. Fuck off. Let's see here. Give me a sec, guys. Let me just check something. I'm recovering from surgery yesterday. Well, I hope you have a good recovery, Becky. And I hope the surgery wasn't for anything too serious. Mando, Kenobi, and/or Fett. There had to be at least one trans actor. Yeah, Reva. Yeah, get well, Becky. Hearing you rage is always good. Well, I'm glad my rage is soothing. All right. So, I don't know whether or not Pedro Pascal talked or spoke directly to IGN, but IGN is reporting this. This is something that Pedro Pascal had to say about The Mandalorian and about Bo-Katan, of course. I just think it was perfect that we got to meet and see the character. And she got to do cool shit in the second season. And then she gets to take center stage in the third. Completely like annihilating his character from season 3. He's happy about that. He's probably happy about that because he wants nothing to do with it, maybe. I mean, I don't like Pedro Pascal, so good. Fuck off, dude. Right? And I kind of used to like Katie Sackhoff, but the more I've seen of her recently, the more I'm being turned off. But this is just stupid. She got to do some cool shit in season 2 and then gets to take center stage in season 3. Cool, dude. It's fantastic. Rhino, turn your gain down. I don't know if that's making any difference. Did that do anything? Tell me if I'm yelling, does it make any fucking difference? Better? Okay, good. It was distorting. It's because I talk so fucking loud. Anyway, there's really nothing here. I just wanted to show you what Pedro Pascal had to say about his show of The Mandalorian, the flagship show of Disney Star Wars, and the fact that he was happy to have Bo-Katan come in and completely cuck him from his own show. He's happy about it. Good for you, Pedro. Good for you. And he might be saying that because he is on his way out. Who knows? I mean, we got confirmation that he wasn't in the suit. We got confirmation that he is only doing the lines for it. And again, I think it's pretty evident there too. Subbed? Thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. And we get another one. Subbed? Thank you. I appreciate that too. Daredevil, hello. How you doing? from my observations, there are a few fans that are still clinging to Disney, which are the comic tards. Not that there's anything wrong with comics, just the Disney ones. Yeah, and we're actually, that's a great segue, actually. Let me bring that up really quickly. Hang on, let me get rid of this. Thank you for that. And I agree. There are a lot of people that are still clinging on. But this is the thing. There are a lot of people that have like this new audience that Disney wanted to, cater to. They've got some of their new audience. There are a lot of activists that are their new audience. A lot of people with pronouns in their bios that are their new audience. And then when you come out and say, oh, that destroys the law, that destroys the continuity of something, you're the bigoted, sexist, racist, bigot, asshole. Like, you have so many things that are wrong with Disney Star Wars. You just mentioned one of them. I mean, the best example that I can give on a more recent note would be the rematch of the century. Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was garbage. What they did was absolutely horrible. But if you mention that, it's like, oh, you're a racist. What about that statement makes me a racist? The fact that I want the law to be consistent? The fact that I want continuity in my entertainment? What about that makes me a racist? What about that makes me a sexist? The fact that I call Rey a Mary Sue? The fact that we called Reva a Mary Sue? That has nothing to do with the skin color. It's got nothing to do with her female genitals. It's got nothing to do with any of that. It is purely based on the writing. Oh, is it because the writer is a female? Is that why you're calling me a sexist? Because the writer's a female, but the writer can't write Star Wars? Fucking, I see all you guys, these new subs that have just come in. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Let me play you something. We'll play this for all you new guys here.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
There you go. But thank you. I appreciate it. I'll give you this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. But speaking of comics. So this was announced this week. This September, relive the Revolution with Obi-Wan Kenobi, a 6-issue comic mini-series adapting the TV show by those creators. Who cares about this, honestly? You know, it's one thing to do a novelization of a movie or something, let's say, right? Like, we've had novelizations. I've just finished, again, listening to the Revenge of the Sith novel, right? Fantastic book, by the way. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. If it's one thing to do an adaptation or a novelization of a movie or something like that. But, yeah, the Revolution, fucking stupid, isn't it? But yeah, it's another thing to do like a comic book series of a show that was poorly received. Really poorly received. Here's some of the art here. So there's that. You got Owen, Leia with a little stupid droid that, you know, can open doors and can be basically reprogrammed with a little fucking thing, like to be evil. changes the color of its eye. You got Obi-Wan, you got Reva, you've got the fifth brother, I think it is, and the Grand Inquisitor. This one here, this looks horrid to me. Like, first of all, I hate these line things that they've done here, right? But then you look at Reva's face, it almost looks like, what's with the indent in the cheek? And it just seems really, like, wonky to me. The artwork is just, it looks really bad to me. And then Obi-Wan on his dewback, I think it is. No, it's not a dewback, is it? What is that? Tim, what creature is that? Or anyone in the chat? I can't remember now. Yeah. An Eopie, thank you. That's right. Eopie. Yeah, that's just 3 covers that they've done for it. But I think my biggest point is who's going to care to read this? It's going to be the people that are defending Reva not being a Mary Sue, defending Reva saying like, oh, the criticism that she was getting is all just sexist. No, racist more so than sexist because she's black, right? What trumps what? Does racism trump sexism or does sexism trump racism when it comes to, because they'll always work out which one's the worst one and go with that one. Yeah, the 2 Reva fans, that's right. I mean, this is the other thing too that I look at in regards to like we talked last week about the budget for Andor and this kind of thing. They're investing money into this. Are they going to make that money back, really? So number 1, Islam. Number 2, trans. Number 3, black. And number 4 must be women. Sexism. Anyway, I don't know who this is for. I mean, who wants to see in comic book form Reva? Like, it's funny that they're going to put this in comic books. It really actually is. There's so much wrong with what they did with Obi-Wan Kenobi that bringing this in is just a joke. An absolute joke. I mean, they're probably paying the artist like $10K, so their investment is minimal. But still, $10K. Do you reckon they're going to make $10K back? They've still got to produce the books, right? I don't know how much it costs to do all of that sort of stuff, but I don't see them even really making $10K out of the books, really. I mean, that's coming from my point of view, though, because I would never buy something as stupid as that. All right. Let's move a little bit away from Star Wars for a second. It's still Lucasfilm involved, but obviously Indiana Jones. Let's talk a little bit about this real quick. So from Bounding into Comics, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy says it's entirely possible for Phoebe Waller-Bridge to take over Indiana Jones franchise. What have we been talking about this entire fucking stream? The Force is female. Well, Indiana Jones is now female. It's entirely possible. And with everything that we've seen and heard about this Indiana Jones movie and the Dial of Destiny, it looks like it's probably going to head in that direction. They're probably going to do that so that they can do an Indiana Jones TV spin-off, or they can do further Indiana Jones movies with Indiana Jane, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. This is typical Kathleen Kennedy activism garbage. coming out of Lucasfilm, Disney Lucasfilm. Everything has to be embedded in activism, femininity. You know, what are we going to hear next? That the original 3 Indiana Jones movies are misogynistic? Probably. It wouldn't surprise me if they haven't already said it. So be prepared, guys, because everything that you ever liked that ever came out of Lucasfilm is now embedded in femininity and must be transformed for the modern audience that doesn't exist. The fans are fans. If you were a fan of Indiana Jones back when you were a child, and you're still a fan of Indiana Jones now as you're an adult, who's passing on that fandom to the next generation? Those parents. As soon as they do something like this, it's like, nah, it's shit. Don't even bother. I'll show you the original 3 movies and just settle with that. And it's the same thing with Star Wars. We've talked about it before. But this is just typical Kathleen Kennedy bullshit. And that takes me into, where is it? And that takes me into this. I did a video on this week. So Grizzy does some great work over on his YouTube channel. Again, go and subscribe to Grizzy if you're not already. He does a lot of videos clipping out people's reactions to Star Wars, to Marvel, to a lot of Disney stuff. Like he did Little Mermaid ones. And you can see in the video here, he's got Indiana Jones there. He's got Black Widow there. He's got the Marvels there, right? And there's a lot of Star Wars stuff in there as well. But it's all just clipped out of these people and their reactions, and they're shilling and they're sealing and they're simping for these products without having any critical thinking whatsoever. They've got to go in, they get their access, especially with this Indiana Jones one, because Indiana Jones hasn't even been released yet. So they get their access, and of course, what happens? They're going to give it positive reviews and all of that kind of thing. Now, I talked about this on my video, but I'm going to say it again. We've seen it from Rotten Tomatoes and a lot of those sites where they remove reviews or comments. They change the system so that it can actually suit the studio, so that they can get some more positive looking feedback, right, to present to just the general audiences. So the normies go in there and they're like, oh, it's got a 60%. That's not too bad. I might go and check that out, as opposed to it probably truly being like a 30% or something like that. Anyway, we've talked about that at length. But this is just a way for the big media companies like YouTube and the review websites like Rotten Tomatoes to protect the studio, the movie, the franchise, the show, whatever it is, from critical reviews and critical thinking. So Grizzy says, video proof at Team YouTube, limiting ad revenue for video titles critical of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and allow full monetization for positive video titles. And he dropped the video despite all of this crap. So let's just watch this really quickly. There's no audio, so he's showing us here, if I can just pause for a second, he's showing us here that he got limited monetization and ad suitability is on. Now, normally when you see this, it's based on the actual content, right? It's based on what's actually being shown through the screen. So, for example, a lot of my streams, they get limited and they get ad suitability because I drop fuck bombs all the time because Disney fucking piss me off too much, right? So it's normally based in the actual content as opposed to a title or a thumbnail. Now, thumbnails can affect it. I had a limited video because I was flipping the bird in a thumbnail, right? So, of course, that gets limited. Doesn't sort of get pushed to people underage. and it doesn't, doesn't get pushed through the algorithm. So the video is not going to get seen nowhere near as much as a video that has full monetization. Let's continue. So he goes into the back end of the video. He deletes Disney Seals Defend. Deletes that, right? He hasn't saved it yet. He's still showing that its ad suitability is on. He saves it. It's still got ad suitability, which I find interesting because it's just Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. However, let's continue. He then types in, is good. So now the title of the video is now Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is good. Save. Ad suitability switches off straight away and goes to none. He now has full monetization just from changing the title from Disney Shills Defend at the beginning of it to is good at the end of it. G'day, Pure Navarro. How you doing? Good to see you. Yep, showing us there, full monetization. Now, he did obviously go back and change the title again. He's not going to put in there and leave in there that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is good. He could probably do that with a question mark next to it. You know, not completely stating that it's good. Hang on one second. You say that. So basically, it doesn't matter after Indy 5 loses 200 to 300 and I see you saying $1 million bucks. It's all over for Kennedy's bullshit. I don't know about that. I don't know about that because I worked out based on this was last week. I worked out that for Star Wars, for all the shows that they've done, based on the budgets that have been reported, based on all the Disney Plus Star Wars shows that they've done, they've spent approximately $1 billion. They spent $2 billion on the hotel thing. They spent, I don't know how much they spent on the park. I don't think they've made not even close to their money back. Not on top of the fact that it was a $4 billion investment. To me, Lucasfilm has been losing money over fist. Just constantly throwing money out there and just losing money. I don't know how they're supposed to make their money back from a $250 million budget on a show like Andor when the audience just completely falls off a cliff. How much did they spend then? That's what I heard the report to be. I went the wrong way. But we're actually going to watch Grizzy's video and see if there's any content in there that actually comes across as, ad suitability. Now, as you can see here, he changed the title to Disney Indiana Jones Simp fans defend the Dial of Destiny. That's what he changed the title to. And I'm curious, Grizzy, you in the chat, did that get demonetized for that title? Or was it still clear? Oh, I don't know if I shared audio. Yeah, we've watched a couple of Grizzy's videos before. I know I don't usually like watching an entire video because then, I'm stealing views from him. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. And I don't think Grizzy necessarily has a problem with it because he's always been here. He's always supported the channel and everything. And we've watched a lot of Star Wars ones on here. let's just take
An absolute blast from beginning to end. You guys are not going to be disappointed in this one.
And I do not understand the hate that this film was originally getting when all the early reviews were coming up.
I don't know what the hell they were watching. This is a fun movie.
Because this movie is spectacular.
I had a blast with this.
This was my most anticipated movie of the entire year. One of my most anticipated movies ever.
Let's just go to defense number one.
You got a fun Indiana Jones movie, and I saw somebody on my out of the theater reaction. Uh-oh, fun. That's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see great. Well, then you're going to be disappointed. It's not a great Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, I would say that. If you're going into this movie thinking it's going to be Raiders or Last Crusade, you're going to be disappointed. It's just a different approach to it. And hey, it's a different director, so they're going to have a different vibe.
So a different director is now a good excuse for a movie not being as great as what came previously.
the original. Correct.
Idiots.
Rizzy.
I'm happy to report that I think that Dial of Destiny is easily better than every part of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Pretty good Indiana Jones movie. It is not the best in the series. It is not as bad as Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Not that movie is all that bad.
I didn't give it its own section, but this is another one I've been hearing from these people that it's not as bad as Crystal Skull. Therefore, we should be happy and just enjoy it for what it is.
And
that's the same argument that they give us with the Disney Plus Star Wars shows. Oh, it's not as bad as the sequels, so that means that it's good, right?
Actually found myself crying at the very end of this movie.
Oh, that does not surprise me in the slightest.
Like a bitch.
And really, a lot of it works for me to walk out feeling incredibly satisfied. This is already number 3 on all the list of the Indiana Jones films. This is already number 3, well above Temple of Doom and
bullshit.
While Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny isn't an amazing send-off for Indiana Jones as a character, there are some solid fun moments here sprinkled throughout that I think Indiana Jones fans are going to enjoy.
I have never settled for mediocrity as an acceptable standard, and neither should you.
I would temper your expectations. Find some enjoyment in seeing Harrison Ford don this hat and wield that whip again.
You know, Stuckman, I think most people would rather go into a movie with high expectations and have those expectations achieved, or dare I say, exceeded, instead of listening to you in your PlayStation Pride shirt telling us to temper our expectations, go into it with an open mind, or don't set your sights too high.
And there's good stuff here. It's just not perfect.
I find it funny that all of these people are talking about it like it's not the best. It goes off in a little bit of a different direction, but it's still fun and good and really cool.
Fuck off. By the time it was over, I just had a really great time.
I think Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is spectacular and holds its own with the majority of this franchise.
I truly don't think so. Moving on.
Yeah. Okay.
He goes to his class. It's his last day. And a young student in the very back knows everything. She knows everything. She knows this. She knows the language. And guess who that is? It's
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge was great. Just absolutely great.
She ruins the entire movie.
I trust this guy.
Much discussion and debate has surrounded the character Helena Shaw, played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Most of said discourse happening on this very platform I'm talking to you on. And mostly from people who haven't seen the movie yet.
But when the trailer gives us lines like this,
You stole it.
And you stole it.
And I stole it. It's called capitalism.
we knew what we were getting with this character, and lo and behold, we were right.
She is so unlikable, not just in the way she's written, but just in her performance.
Brilliant! Brilliant!
Toby Jones, Phoebe Waller-Bridge,
Yeah.
they just felt like they belonged in this world.
For the
See the difference between like how Chris Gore is talking about it and how like these people are talking about it? And then again, like Grizzy pointed out in the trailer, that's what we got. You know, this is capitalism. The way that she is written, it's just annoying. You know? And I know I saw you, Becky, asking where's Charles. Well, you don't get Charles at the moment, but you do get Eric. There you go. Say hello, Eric. Say hello. Hi. There you go. All right, let's continue.
He-Man woman haters out there.
He-Man woman haters.
Woman haters.
All right, continue.
For the He-Man woman haters out there, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is good in this film. She is strong. She works well off of Harrison Ford's performance.
Is it just me, or does it seem like there's someone just off screen with a weapon forcing these people to praise Phoebe Waller-Bridge and her performance?
And then Phoebe Waller-Bridge, their dynamic plays really well.
You piece of shit, motherfucker.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge was so good as well.
She's kind of a little bit annoying, but thankfully by the third act, her character really comes full swing and you start to understand why her character is the way that she is.
Oh yeah, but you get the idea, right? That she was a huge whore.
All right, defense number 3.
Initial really positive responses, then it got exceptionally lukewarm.
What? It got a little worse than lukewarm, bro.
So I thought we were getting Crystal Skull all over again. We didn't. Not in my opinion.
And after seeing the movie, I think everyone who saw this movie and said it was mediocre or garbage is insane.
Is it the greatest Indiana Jones movie? No. Is it in the top tier? No. Is it enjoyable and fun to watch? It was. But I'm going to say
it's almost like it's such an oxymoron to say that. Is it top tier Indiana Jones? No. What else did he say? Sorry, hold on. Oops.
Indiana Jones movie? No. Is it in the top tier?
Is it in the top tier? No.
Is it enjoyable and fun to watch?
Fun to
it
watch?
was.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10.
So that said, I'm going to give this film an A-.
An A-.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So where does Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny fall? Well, my first impressions have me saying that it's good.
Did I give this a 3 out of 5? I had a blast with it.
Oh, out of 5, it is 4 stars. 4 stars out of 5, easy.
Yeah, I give it 4 out of 5 stars as well. 4 out of 5 cowboy hats, I should say. Well, after seeing this,
So I'm curious to know, like, out of 5, what do they give the other Indiana Jones movies? Because apparently this is number 3 on this guy's list. So that must mean that the two, what did he say? Temple of Doom. This was above Temple of Doom. But the other ones, so Raiders and Last Crusade must be 5 out of 5s, perfect movies, and then it's
movie, I have to say I would love one more adventure, selfishly, for this Harrison Ford and James Mangold directing it with Indiana Jones one more time. It would be a blast for sure.
I've lost all hope in the human fucking race.
Please subscribe to the channel if you're.
Please do subscribe to the channel. I'm going to drop the link to the actual video in the chat now. Of course, go and give the video a like as well, and go and give him a sub. Fucking hell. Like, even those reviews, even though they I guess those people feel like it was coming across as positive, it didn't instill me with a lot of hope that this was a good movie. Is it this? Is it that? No, it's actually pretty bad when it comes to those things. But was it fun? Yeah. Okay. Wow. Wowee. Oh. I don't even really know if I want to touch on this because I don't know how true it is. I'll show it to you anyway. I saw this, and again, it's just one of those he, him, fucking pronoun, fucking accounts. Says this: Rian Johnson was really going to add the ghost of Anakin Skywalker in The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson previously revealed that he was indeed going to add the ghost of Anakin Skywalker to the film, but later changed his mind and used Master Yoda. Who cares? It was a shit film. Like, do you think, does anyone here in the chat think that if, let's say, it didn't have Yoda and it had Anakin, if it was going to be any, would that make it any better? No. No. And again, it's just from a fucking nobody account. So I don't know how much, I don't know if that was actually revealed by Rian Johnson. But yeah, I just saw it, thought I'd touch on it. Let's see here. All right, let's talk about... Sorry, this is going to be another quick casual rage because I do need to wrap this up pretty soon. We've still got Seal of the Week, of course, which we'll do very, very shortly. Let me just check something over here. Refresh. No, we're all good there. And I don't think there's any member chats. I haven't seen anything. No, we're all good there. Okay. Hey, that those couple of subs that came through got me over 3,900. Thank you, guys. Finally broke the 3,900 mark. Now we just got to get that 4K and keep moving. All right. Here we go. Let me touch on these two things really quickly. We'll get these out of the way. Should ask Rian Johnson's thoughts about it. Rhino, I honestly didn't see The Last Jedi or The Rise of Palpatine. You're lucky. Congratulations. Thank you, Becky. Thank you very much. Okay. Diego Luna has addressed Andor's Season 1's slow build. Slow build-up. Why do they fucking do it like that? Diego Luna has addressed Andor's Season 1's slow build-up in the first 3 episodes. It's a show that, yes, asks for... what's that? Oh, sorry. That asks for patience. But because of its complexity, there is no other way to get there. Do you really think, like, slow build up because of its complexity? And it asks for patience because of its complexity. I didn't think it was that complex. I didn't think it was that complex at all. And there was no other way to do it. I think there was a better way to do it. You know what the better way is? Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Andor was bad. I don't care what anyone says. To me, in my opinion, Andor was fucking bad. And the fact that it had a slow build-up in the first 3 episodes, especially after Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett, that's what you lost. That's how you lost a lot of your audience. A lot of the audience that was still willing, after all of that, to give Andor a shot, fell off the bandwagon because of the first 3 episodes. And the fact that he says that there was no other way that they could get there. There's no other way. Yeah, there is. Find better writers. Find better people that know Star Wars better than the guy that made it, that doesn't give a fuck about Star Wars, that doesn't even like Star Wars. self-admitted that he doesn't like Star Wars. Andor was just boring as hell. It wasn't just boring. There was a lot of other things in there too, but boring was the biggest thing that was going around about it, for sure. For sure. So, look, I wonder how Andor Season 2 is going to be. More Mon Mothma being fucking bullshit Mon Mothma. More Luthen. Oh, he's fucking had this amazing fucking dialogue. It's the best dialogue we've ever had in Star Wars. The best speech. Give me a fucking bucket. Give me a fucking bucket. So anyway, I wanted to touch on that, and I just wanted to touch on this. Michael Shannon turned down a villain role in a Star Wars project because he thinks it's mindless entertainment and not very stimulating. Now, it's become, under Disney, it's become very much mindless entertainment. That's why you've got a lot of seal clappers out there, and not very stimulating because of what Disney's done with it. If you look at George Lucas' philosophy of Star Wars and George Lucas's Star Wars, it's actually quite stimulating and actually not very mindless at all. It actually takes a little bit just to get the brain pumping and process what you're actually seeing and understanding what you're actually seeing. It's not mindless entertainment. So it's curious to me whether or not he's always thought this about Star Wars or whether or not he's just thinking that now. And he knows that not only is Disney Lucasfilm the franchise killer that it is, but it's also the career destroyer that it has become for actors like Daisy Ridley, for actors like, I can't even remember her name, fucking Reva. And all these new people that are coming in. The only reason why it hasn't really destroyed Rosario Dawson's fucking career yet is because everybody just loves Ahsoka and loves Dave Filoni. You know, even when they brought in Christopher Lloyd, who is a good actor, not even his quality of acting at his age could save that comical, ridiculous, bland, stupid, fucking retarded episode from The Mandalorian Season 3. And this is what I was saying in my video. I dropped a video last week, this week. I can't remember exactly. I dropped a video and it was clipped out from last week's stream about Idris Elba in talks to be a villain in the Daisy Ridley Star Wars movie. And I was saying in that, I know that he's never going to see it, but if he was to ever see it, don't do it. Don't sign the contract. Just refuse. Don't do it. The only reason why they want to bring in such a big name like Idris Elba is because they can't sell it with Rey. They need him. And it's funny that they need a man to be able to sell a female-led movie. And a black man, of all things. They're definitely trying everything that they can, if that rumor is true. Now, I think Idris Elba is a good enough actor that even if he gets a fucking horrible script, which I'm expecting, right, and a horrible director, which the director is a horrible director, she's an activist, Obaid Chinoy, whatever the fuck her name is, directing a fucking at least a B grade, if not an A grade actor in Idris Elba. I think he's good enough that he could recover from a Star Wars movie, especially a flop of a Star Wars movie that I'm expecting the Daisy Ridley movie to be. But why would you even bother risking it? You don't need to. You don't need the money. You don't need the role. You don't need the acolyte of the accolade of being in a Star Wars movie. You don't need it. So don't do it. And I think Michael Shannon here has hit the nail right on the head in regards to Disney's Star Wars. It is mindless entertainment. And it isn't stimulating at all. Perfectly said, and well done for not taking the role. Despite the fact of what people think of him as Zod. So that is that. All right. Let me bring this up. Which one do I pick? I think we'll go with those three. I'll give you guys a choice. Get ready to hit a number. Okay, which one's going to be in the nominees for this week? So these aren't the nominees yet. These are just possibilities of nominees. So you've got Star Wars only, Kylo Ren concept art for The Force Awakens, Darth Vader 2.0. Fire. It's fire, bro. It's fire. Fire, bro. Or number 2 is the Star Wars Academy with Like Father, Like Son, with the finger pointing, with the no-look blasting. The funny thing is that this is from original Star Wars. This isn't, this isn't, this isn't, this is, and this isn't. So like the firing the blaster without looking is a Disney thing that they made Harrison Ford do or Han Solo do. So who gets the nominee this week? Number 1 for Star Wars only getting the nomination, or number 2 for Star Wars Academy getting the nomination? Is it seal time? It is seal time. Neither. They're both weak. I know. There's actually some pretty weak nominations. We got Vader. Both are bad. Well, they're both pretty bad, like, takes, but... I had a bit of a tough time this week finding some good seals of the week, to be honest. I kind of want to go with this one more so than the Vader one, to be honest. Because, like, he's just showing concept art for The Force Awakens and Darth Vader 2.0. The fire thing is where I'm like, yeah, okay, he's saying that he loves it. It's fucking great. But this one, Like Father, Like Son. I'll wait a bit. I'll wait a second. Yeah. It is way too early to be feeding you. I never saw the original artwork for Darth Vader. All right, guys. Can't see any you guys picking one. So you go with the second one too? All right, we're going with this one. So we're going to get rid of this one. All righty. All righty. All righty. Let's do it. All right, nominee number 1 for this week's Seal of the Week is Okiro. I think that's how you would say it. I'm not too sure, but that's what we'll go with. True story. Star Wars The Force Awakens. An interracial couple gets chased by a man with a burning cross. Oh, I didn't even see it was retweeted. Explain a movie plot so badly. Oh, it's not really a seal. It's just explaining the movie badly. But it's still a pretty fucking... I love it. Interracial fucking couple across the galaxy. Oh, that one was a bit of a letdown because I didn't even notice that it was a retweet or a quote tweet of having to explain. Yeah, that's clearly a joke. Yeah, it's actually funny. Kind of is, isn't it? All right, well, number 1's not going to get the vote, but oh well. I don't have another one to replace it with, unless I bring in that Vader one. Unless I bring in that... Hold on. All right, well, we will replace it. Is it that one? No, it's this one. Okay. So, this week's nominations are number 1, Star Wars Only. Says Kylo Ren concept art for The Force Awakens, Darth Vader 2.0. Fire. It's fire, bro. It's fire. It's fire. Yeah, I got punked. I got bamboozled. All right, nominee number 2 is from our good friend Dan, who gets a nomination quite often on this channel. So does Star Wars Holocron. However, he asked the question, which film is the best of the sequel trilogy? And Dan says, The Last Jedi is a wonderful and beautiful film. And the other two are really good too, but not quite on its level. I adore this trilogy. I adore the trilogy. It's amazing. Yes, we know you adore the trilogy, Dan. Problem is that you're fucking your hypocrisy is plain for everyone to see when it comes to Star Wars. Nominee number 3 is manifesting for an Emmy nominee, Hayden Christensen for Outstanding Supporting Actor as Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. God damn. I mean, his acting performance was fine, but I don't think it was Emmy nomination worthy. And then the last one, of course, is the Star Wars Academy with Like Father, Like Son. You've got the finger pointing, you've got the blind shooting, blasting behind him, and then you've got the shrugging of the shoulders. I'm sorry, guys. They are a little bit weak this week. These were the best ones that I could possibly find. I probably could, if I had a bit more time, I could have probably found a few better ones, but these are the ones that we have for this week. So let me put the poll in the chat. All right, the poll is in the chat. So just going through again, we've got number 1 with Kylo Ren concept art for The Force Awakens, Darth Vader 2.0. Fire, bro. It's fire. Then you've got Dan saying The Last Jedi is a wonderful and beautiful film, and the other two are really good too, but not quite on its level. I adore this trilogy. Number three, is manifesting an Emmy nominee, Hayden Christensen, for Outstanding Supporting Actor as Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. And then last, number 4, you've got Star Wars Academy saying like father, like son. Poetry. Get your votes in. All right. While we're waiting for the votes to be tallied and come through, let me touch on this. I'll put my headphones in so that we can go straight into it. Yeah. No. All right. Samuel L. Jackson has supported his MCU co-star Brie Larson amid the backlash she received from incel dudes who hate strong women, quote unquote. She's not going to let any of that stuff destroy her. Well, she might not let it destroy her when it comes to maybe her acting or, moving forward as an actor, but she's definitely let it get to her, and that's evident from this.
Will you play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Nobody ever wants to see you again, ever.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
Looks like she's got the crazy eyes. The thing that I hate about this, of course, is when he says, quote, incel dudes who hate strong women. Dude, we got nothing against strong, empowered women when it's just a natural progression of the female character. When you've got a dumb bitch like this, that even in interviews with Chris Hemsworth and the other guy, I can't remember them all, but she's sitting there in interviews and she's basically, you can see in her eyes that she hates men, just blatantly hates men. Brie Larson is the biggest incel? Yeah. Because she hates men that much that no actual man would actually want to taint their cock with her pussy. So despite the fact that she's not going to let it destroy her, it certainly gets to her, right? But the problem is, Brie, is that it's because you're an insufferable personality. And the way that you think about people, especially men, right, is why you've copped a lot of the backlash you've copped. But then not only that, there's the performances too. Like if we eliminate the personality side of the horrible Brie Larson that we know and look at the performance that she gives, she's a fucking wooden board. She's as stiff as a board. She's a cardboard box. She's nothing. I mean, maybe she's got this feeling towards men because of the casting couch she had to sit to, get the roles that she got, get the money that she's got. And she finds it completely insufferable. Well, we find you completely insufferable, Brie. And you've done it to yourself with the way that you acted towards, when you watched a lot of those MCU guys and the Marvel guys in their interviews and their red carpet appearances and all of that kind of stuff, it seemed very they were very cushy. They were very close with each other. There seemed like there was a lot of friendships between all the actors, male and female alike. But then as soon as Brie comes on the scene, she gets her own movie and then she's doing Endgame with them and she's got to do the press junkets and stuff like that with everyone. Everyone hated her. Men and women alike, it would seem. You know, there's the Ellen appearance that they did where it was just the women. It was Brie, Scarlett, and can't even remember who the other one was. Was it Gal Gadot? Because she was doing. I know that that's not MCU related, but was it her or was it Scarlet Witch, the other Olsen? Anyway, whichever one it was, you can almost see that those other two girls can't stand Brie Larson. In the way that they're responding, in their body language, all of that stuff. Now, it came out a lot more with the men because she hates men, right? So it was very, very noticeable when it came to Chris or any of those others that she ended up doing those interviews with, especially that whole argument of who's the most powerful. But yeah, it's just completely stupid. Samuel L. Jackson, more and more and more, as he's getting older and as we get into woke culture more and more and more, is becoming less likable from my perspective. So there was that. Oh, you guys are going to hate me. You guys are going to hate me. So back to Indiana Jones. We're going to watch this. This is from the Star Wars channel. This is from This Week in Star Wars. Except it's for this one, it's This Week in Indiana Jones. Of course, Lucasfilm and every connection that they've got there. But we've got the red-headed weirdo doing some interviews with some Indiana Jones people. So we're going to watch this.
This week, we're changing things up a little bit, and we've invited a few friends over to talk Indiana Jones. Last night, the cast and crew of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny gathered in Hollywood for the U.S. premiere of the film. Fans and old friends reunited at the Dolby Theater as director James Mangold, stars Harrison Ford and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and many others came together to see Indy off on one last adventure in theaters. And surprise guest John Williams was even there to conduct some of his most unforgettable compositions, including the Raiders March and 2 new pieces from the Dial of Destiny. For much more on that, keep your eyes on the Lucasfilm YouTube and social channels. But even more exciting, we have some of the cast and crew here now, ready to sit down to talk all things Indy. In our first installment of interviews, Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and other members of the cast tell us all about their first day on set for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and spill all their secrets about what they kept from the set.
All their secrets of what they kept from the set.
Harrison, Phoebe, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Jim, so nice to meet you. Thank you
Nice
for being
to meet
here.
you.
It's an amazing set.
What was a personal highlight from your first day on set?
Seeing 1969 New York City. I'm from New York, so kind of like literally time travel. Yeah, that was just like, oh wow.
You rolling up your script and hitting me around the head with it on our first day. Do you remember that?
No.
I said, I feel a little nervous. If I ever do anything rubbish, please tell me and I'll do it again. And then I was like, okay, I just need to kind of get out of myself a little bit, get out of my head. And then you rolled up your script and you went, Bush! Did that help? And then you got up and you walked past me and you squeezed my shoulder and you went, you're doing good, kid.
I don't know who this guy is.
Okay, just that there, with what Phoebe Waller-Bridge just said and the fact that Harrison Ford can't remember it, that comes across to me as a made-up story. I don't see Harrison Ford rolling up his script, hitting her over the head with it, and then coming up to her later and going like that. That's where she's trying to say, "Oh, it was all in jest." It, it wasn't like him hitting me seriously or abusing me in any way, shape, or form. We better not make it a Me Too situation. So he came up to me and he goes, "You're doing good, kid." And he doesn't remember any of that. I don't think he's becoming that senile and that, like, I don't think he's got dementia yet, Phoebe. You can't just go making shit up.
My first day, whoa, to see the actual dial, Phoebe showed it to me, and I was really excited because I've never seen it before. It was amazing.
No one's ever seen it before, kid.
And I felt like, wow, I'm in an adventure movie.
My memory was just the spectacle that we saw and how, oh my God, I only have 150 of these to go.
We were not shooting that day. We were just supposed to go through the script, but we were also trying out the costumes. And then I went outside my trailer, and Harrison went outside. That was the first time I met him. But it wasn't Harrison. It was Indiana Jones. He had the hat, the whip, the jacket.
I see somebody come up to my peripheral, and it's Harrison. He's like, "I love what you're doing." And that kind of made it real and took away a lot of the pressure or, when am I going to meet Harrison? How's that going to go? Just kind of really normalized everything and made you feel like you're part of the gang.
I was just thrilled to be back. I was just gratified to feel on the first day that I was surrounded by people that were going to really help me through this job. I just could feel the fit.
This is a safe space, you can tell me.
Okay.
Did you take anything from the set?
I took a rope because there's a scene on the boat.
Where you're learning how to tie knots?
Yeah. So
Yes.
I kept one.
I'm a little bit of a klepto. I take like little knickknacks. I took some stuff from the boat. The boat had quite the cool things. I got some dice.
We're going to frisk you on your way out of this room, too,
Yeah,
just to
got
make
one of those
sure.
fake rocks.
Got a pocket full of sand.
Quite a few of these are mine, folders, and
Yes.
I saved that one for you, Harrison.
Thank you.
I love this one. The Lucasfilm one is actually my bed head.
I also had
Oh
a
my
gift
God.
from Phoebe and Harrison. They gave me a guitar and they signed it. So every time I feel a bit bad, I look at it. I'm like, okay, life is actually good.
The real mementos you take are impossible to quantify. For me, the chance and the opportunity, the real thing I've taken home from this, and probably the biggest reason I made the picture, was the chance to collaborate with my heroes and have real relationships with them.
I didn't take anything.
Didn't take
I did
anything.
not take anything. Took it all in my heart.
Oh, excellent.
That was the moment I wanted my watch. That was a Luftwaffe watch. And then I realized, no, I can't have a Nazi watch back home.
Yeah.
So I just ended up taking my glasses.
Teach me your ways.
We all had our eyes on Harrison's hat, though, but he never left it.
I took some of the money. This stuff I don't care that much about. I'm sentimental about the relationships. I mean, what am I going to do with a whip? What am I going to do with that hat? I'm not going to
Well-
walk down the street wearing that hat.
Just in your closet with your other hats?
But it makes your other hats feel great that they're literally hanging out with the Indiana Jones hat.
I also would have taken the hat. That's it for this week. For more on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which arrives in theaters June 30th, check out lucasfilm.com. You know what? That was pretty fun. Maybe we'll do some more of these. So be sure to join us right.
That was boring. That was really boring. That bored me to shit. Oh, that was okay. All right. Seven days, 27,000 views. It's been ratioed. It's actually been ratioed. It's got 1.3 up to 1.5K down. Like not 100, like just 1,300 upvotes to 1,500 downvotes. It's actually been ratioed. So I wasn't the only one that was bored shitless because of that. Out of a channel that has 4 million subscribers. That's pretty telling. And that opening thing from Phoebe about Harrison hitting over the head with the script. That's pretty, again, to me, that comes across as just a lie. It's just a made-up story that she made up in her head for something to say about her interaction with Harrison Ford. Yes, he hit me over the head with his script because I couldn't remember my lines or something. Or I was so intimidated by him being there. Or I don't know. I didn't even fucking understand what the whole purpose of what she was saying was there. God damn. All right, let's finish off Seal of the Week. Let's get these Let's get these votes done. Let's see. All right, we're ending it there. End poll. Okay, so in level at 12% of the 16 votes, in last place is number 4, so Star Wars Academy with Like Father, Like Son, and number 1, the two that we picked, Kylo Ren concept art for The Force Awakens, Darth Vader 2.0, fire. In runner-up, in the second place position with 31% of the vote, was number 3 with manifesting for an Emmy nominee, Hayden Christensen, for Outstanding Supporting Actor as Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. And the winner this week, as he's won before multiple times, is Dan with The Last Jedi is a wonderful and beautiful film. And the other two are really good too, but not quite on its level. I adore this trilogy. Congratulations once again, Dan. You win this week's Seal of the Week.
I'm all the Jedi.
All right, guys, that's pretty much the show. That's Casual Rage once again for this week. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Once again, thank you to the lurkers that are just sitting there listening along. Thank you to all the people coming back and watching the stream because you weren't able to catch it live. I appreciate all of you. Thank you to all the new subs that came in. I appreciate you guys getting me over that 3,900. Really appreciate that. What I've got coming up, I'm obviously clipping out videos from my streams. I'm also trying just to put some videos together, like I did the one in regards to the video that Grizzy put out this week. So I'm trying to do a little bit more. It has been really hard because work has just been really busy and it's just draining me. So by the time I get home, I'm quite exhausted. But thank you for all your support, guys. I really appreciate all of you. This weekend, we've got Back of the Ute over on the Full Aussie channel. That's tomorrow night or Saturday morning if you're in the States. And then you can, of course, catch me on Flashcast on Sunday or Saturday night if you're in the States. And other than that, I do need to let you all know, next week, unfortunately, there will be no Casual Rage. I've had to change my day off, so I won't be taking the Friday off. I'll be taking the Tuesday off, and I think it's too soon to be doing a Casual Rage like we've done it now, and then, in 4 days we do another Casual Rage? I don't know. So I might just do this next week. I might just do, on that day off that I'm taking, like a gaming stream or something. So go over to my Twitch, follow me on Twitch, and I'll probably do something there. But also, too, of course, follow me on Twitter, and you'll receive all the notifications over through my Twitter as well. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Obviously, just to continue with the Full Aussie thing just really quickly, we've been doing a stream every Wednesday night for us here in Australia. So it's Wednesday morning for a lot of you guys over there in the States, called Happy Hump Day. It is very different to every other stream that we do. It is literally just sort of sitting there watching videos, funny videos, having a laugh, sometimes having a laugh at my expense. The guys like to do that, especially this last week just gone. They were showing shit that just completely went over my head, and they were just laughing at me the whole time. So if you're not subscribed to the Full Aussie channel, please go over to there and give us a sub there as well. Other than that, guys, thank you for being here. We will see you not next week, but the following week for another Casual Rage. But hopefully, I'll see you sometime in the in between there on another stream or somewhere along the way. Have a good day, and I will speak to you guys later. Let me bring up. I should have had this ready, really, shouldn't I? All right, later, guys.
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like dusting crops, kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store, or bounce into a supermarket, and then
Yeah.
it'd be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing the deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking very cautious.
You go away.
Bounce too near a supermarket?
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!